Very good morning to all my dear friends. I hope you all are doing good. This is Prashant Mauni and I warmly welcome all of you to StudyIQ. Dear friends, look at the positive statement of the day. Perseverance is not a long race. It is many short races, one after another. For bigger goals, if you want to climb Mount Everest, say for example, now when I say Mount Everest, I don't literally mean the Mount Everest that is there in Nepal. Whatever things that we have decided, right? Every new thing is like a Mount Everest for us, isn't it? And this happens with every one of us, right? Every successful person goes through this thing, that when they decide to do something, right, it looks of course first of all a person who is a bit visionary, right, who likes to step out of the box, and also a person who would like to, you can say, cross their own boundaries, right? So they will select all those sort of challenges that they have never done before, and at that point of time, right, in very initial stage, it may look like something that is not possible to achieve, but if you break down, right, once you start working on it, and rather than focusing your attention here, right, thinking about whether I would be able to reach there, what if I fall down and things like that, if you just focus on, or if you break down this, or if you keep, say for example, if you create many small milestones, right, then you will, once you finish, once you reach here, and then here, and then here, and slowly you will feel that you are gaining confidence, right, that you will be feeling better, that I have already crossed this 3 milestones. Now I am heading towards 4th. So basically, when you have short races, right, when you break down bigger races or long races into short ones, it becomes easier, and this will help you to stick with your goals as well. So I hope many of you might have experienced this thing as well, and I believe that many of you will give it a go as well. With this, dear friends, StudyIQ provides pen drive and tablet courses for your exam preparation. Now we cover national level as well as state level exam. There are many other exams as well about which you would be able to read from our studyiq.com. just in case if you have any question or queries regarding our pen drive and tablet courses, or if you want to know more about it, you have chat support available here on our portal, as well as you have these numbers. You can feel free and give us a call anytime you like. With this, dear friends, the first item that we have is pertaining to dual duty. Now it's not tax, it is not other sort of duties that we are talking about. It is basically about a film called Padmavati, or now it is changed into Padmavat. Now the thing is, see, first of all, we have to understand this thing, that as a government, right, when you are in power, say for example, the best example that I can give you is of BJP and Congress, right? So at present, BJP is in power at central level. So when you are in charge, or when you are basically the government, at that point of time, you cannot run away from the solutions, right? You have to. Even many a times the decisions that you take may hurt all those people who have supported you to reach here, but you have to take decisions that are right for the nation. Opposition, when you are in opposition, of course the main one of the most important job of opposition technically, and that's how it should be. It is a matter of shame that neither BJP played a very creative role when it was in opposition, and neither Congress is playing. But anyways, if we go through the books and other things, then we find that ideally, in an ideal world, the opposition should be playing a very, you can say, constructive role. When I say constructive, they should be criticizing, right? It is their right, because at the end of the day, remember, even if say for example Congress is having at present somewhere around 44 seats in the parliament, they have reached here because there are people who have voted for Congress. So it is not always that the majority's vote is going to dominate the minority. I'm not, of course, not religious minority. We are talking about here, we are talking about the numbers. So Now BJP is in power, and you can see there are 4 states here, right? Gujarat, Rajasthan, Haryana and Madhya Pradesh. Now the thing is, Supreme Court has clearly stated, it has said that you cannot ban a film, right? You cannot ban a film like this way. If the censor board, or you can say this film certification board, if it has given a green signal to this film, then there is no point for the states to ban this film. And what these 2 states, Haryana and Gujarat, have said today, it is mentioned in today's Hindu, it is there as a news item. What they have said is that they will go through the ruling of, or the decision of Supreme Court, and then they will decide whether they should allow this film to be released in Gujarat and Haryana or not. Now, talking about freedom of speech and expression. First of all, creative freedom you cannot prohibit creative freedom in this way. And the reason is that, as a government, as I told you, right, it is your duty to ensure law and order, as well as this is one of the reasons why you have this title dual duty. Dual duty stands for that you have to maintain law and order at the same time. You have to protect freedom of expression as well. A government cannot, or a state, when I say state, I don't mean just the state of Gujarat or state of Rajasthan. State, if you go through constitution, then you will find state stands for, it has a bit of a wider definition. So basically, government or state, you cannot come with this excuse that if this film is released, or if this book is released, or say for example, if this whatever is released, right, painting or any other thing, song maybe, then this will create law and order situation. If this is going to disturb law and order, right, then it is your duty to ensure all necessary, you have to take all necessary steps that will ensure that law and order is not disturbed, or it is maintained as in normal times it is. And for that, if you have to take whatever you can say harsh steps, then you should, because now we are seeing in our country that every time something is coming out, you have some people. Now see, first thing is that there is no personal attachment to Padmavati film, or because no one has watched it yet. And the sad thing is that a film with admittedly no claim to historical accuracy is banned on a mere pretext that some people who have not even seen it find it offensive. Now, so why we have this this certification board? They also, it is a matter of shame that they took on board people who are against this film. It should not happen. So we will have a situation in the country that in future, every time you come out with a book or a film or a song or any sort of creative item, then you would be having people or this opposing or protesting people. They would be asking that let us go through it, and then we will decide whether you can go ahead with it or not. This is clear violation of our Article 19(1)(a) of the Constitution. What it says is that it implies that every citizen has the right to express his or her views, opinions, beliefs, convictions freely by word of mouth, writing, painting, picturing, or in any other manner. And here, of course, one thing we should keep in mind is that such a right is subject to reasonable restrictions. Now, when I have a freedom of speech, that does not mean that I use abusive language wherever I can, right? That is not right. There are reasonable restrictions as well, but they are logical. These restrictions are logical, and this applies, and that's how it should be, right? If I am been given with all the rights, then I have no right to harm your rights, or I should not disturb your peace. But now, if in our society, or if there are some people or groups who are talking about chopping off nose of a lady, and if they are threatening and using violence and intimidation, then this is something which is not, you can say, up to the mark, or this is not something, this is not a way of protesting. in a democratic country like India, right? This sort of things do take place in some countries. There are some countries, I don't want to name the continent or country, right? But there are many countries in which you find this sort of things going on. But here in our society, it is not acceptable at all, right? It is anti-constitution. It is against the culture of our country, and coming out with this sort of things. And there are many hidden agendas as well behind it. Many a times you find that people are doing this sort of things, or there are some influential people who do this sort of or take part in this sort of things because they have something or some political agenda is there. And back in 1989, Supreme Court also said that a state cannot plead inability to handle the problem of a hostile audience, right? So this is clearly given, right, and would be tantamount to negation of rule of law and surrender to blackmail. If the state is saying that it is not able to protect anymore, then basically the state is surrendering itself to these threats, intimidation, and the blackmail. And Supreme Court in 2011 also said that the state is it is the duty of a state to maintain law and order. So now let's see what is going to be the stand of Gujarat, all these 4 states, and it will tell us many things about, or let's wait and watch. Let's not presume things, right? As you have Supreme Court here, it has given a green signal, so let's see what these states are going to do. With this, we have elections in 3 states of northeastern part of our country. It is Nagaland, then you have this Tripura, and it is Manipur, right? These are the 3 states that are going through that will face election in February 2018, and this has been declared by Election Commission of India. Now the thing is, remember one thing, that this legislative elections or legislative assembly elections that are part of the state government, elections pertaining to chief ministers and MLAs is done by Election Commission of India. Keep this thing in mind, right? Very important. They may ask you this sort of, because we had a very, you can say, boiling competition that we saw in Gujarat, and because of this thing, there are high chances that you may be asked a question. This prelims, you may find a question based on Election Commission and its you can say its domain, or different elections that are conducted by Election Commission of India. So keep this thing in mind, that state, when it's about legislative assembly, then it is Election Commission of India, right? So this 3 states are going to face election in February 2018. And though these states are smaller ones, but we cannot underestimate them at all. As you can clearly see that these states are international states. When I say international, I mean to say that they are sharing border with, or they have international border. And if a political scenario is weak, right, this is also directly associated with our national security too. So we have talked about 7 sister states many a times, and then you say 7 plus 1, so it is Sikkim. So we have talked about this sort of thing, so I'm not going to repeat all these things. All I can say to the new students who have just started following these lectures, that you got to open your Atlas book, right, your map book, and open your map book and observe this 7 sister states, or 7 plus 1, add Sikkim in it as well, because you know that we had this Doklam thing, and today as well we have it in news. So we had this Doklam thing here, basically here, and not here, right? You have Bhutan here. So we had this Doklam thing. So there are high chances that you may be asked a sort of geography based question from this portion. You never know, right? And then we have elections as well here, so they may ask you the capital, or you have to arrange the capital of this states from north to south, or from east to west, or west to east, whatever, right? So do try to observe these things from different angle. Try to see major rivers. You don't have to remember small tiny rivers, right? But major rivers. And also I would like to add here that there is a river called Siang. Siang is the same river. In many map book you will read it as Dihang. It is the same river. If you want to know more about this thing, then there is a special video lecture available on our YouTube channel, right, about Siang and the problems that are associated with Siang. And Siang basically becomes Brahmaputra. So rivers and other national parks and other things, so do spend at least, right, don't try to remember everything in one go. Those sort of things don't work. One by one, right? To say, for example, just go through the rivers first, and maybe tomorrow take all this capital and other things, right? So take your time, but make sure that whatever you do, you give the best, or do it in the best way you can. With this, let's move ahead. Now, basically, this editorial is a very good one because it is providing all important details regarding all the 3 states. So let's start with this one first. Tripura. It is the only state in our country at present that is having this Communist Party of India Marxist in power. The other one is Kerala. Manik Sarkar, he is a very famous chief minister, known for his simple way of life, and he is known as, it is believed, not believed, but this is something that he is famous for, right? He is a very down-to-earth person, and even today as well, he is looking, you know, washing his own clothes and things like that. Even though he is chief minister, generally we don't see this sort of simplicity, right? But anyways, so Manik Sarkar has been here for a very long period of time. And it is going to be his test as well, whether he is popular enough to win this election or not. So let's see. And the other thing about good thing about Tripura is that you find 90% voters participation, which indicates that the state is politically very active. Now Tripura has witnessed, or if you go through its human development index, then you'd feel very happy that it is almost fully literate, and infant mortality rate has lowered as well. Overall rank of Tripura in terms of human development index is not bad as well. Now the only problem that we find here in this state is that see, it has a sort of 32% of its population is tribals, right? And they have said that they are going to, there are, say, BJP at present, right? It is joining with this this nationalist party of Tripura, and there is a demand for a separate Tripura land. So this sort of things can create a bit of problem for Manik Sarkar, or this could be a big, you can say, topic of campaign. So let's see. And then you have the second state, Nagaland. This is ruled by this NPF, and you know it very well, have turbulent situations where back in 2017, you know, this TR Ziliang, he stepped down as a chief minister, then he came back, and so this sort of things were visible in Nagaland. And the other thing is that there is a factional battle within NPF, something similar what we find in Tamil Nadu, right? At present things are okay, but earlier on, you know how this AIADMK, there were different factions. So in the same way, this NPF has factions or branches, and these two branches are not happy with each other. The other thing is this Naga Framework Agreement, and this Naga's body, right, this Naga Hoho, they have called, or they have declared, or they are going to boycott this election. So this is going to be a bit of problem. Many times we have witnessed violence and other things in Nagaland when it comes to elections. So it is going to be a bit of challenge. And then you have this Meghalaya. It is a state that is ruled by Congress. Chief Minister Mukul Sangma has been in power almost 8 uninterrupted years, right? He has been here for a very long period of time. So let's see. But the one, you can say, special thing about Meghalaya is that it will I beg your pardon, I think I just said that Manipur, right? No, it's Meghalaya. Just realized that I said Manipur. So it is Meghalaya, Nagaland, and Tripura. These are the three states that are going to face election. So one thing about Meghalaya is that so far the people of Meghalaya, right, going through, judging from the pattern that has been formed so far, we can say that they have always, most of the time, they have voted for a party that is in power at center. So there are high chances that BJP may get votes in Meghalaya, and you never know whether, if BJP is not able to have that you can say splendorous victory, then it is going to be a bit of trouble for BJP in the upcoming general election, 2019's general election. With this, dear friends, these are your figures of bench and everything. This was in the first page of the Hindu, so I thought let me share it with you, and you can go through it if you want. It's not necessary, right? You don't have to remember these figures, right? Just you have to be a little bit aware about what are the things that are going on, right? It is very important because in future you will be working with politicians, and most of you who are preparing for civil services, even if you are preparing for bank and other things, this is part of you would be dealing with people and everything, and politics will matter a lot. I'm not saying that people will interfere with your work, but political decisions, or if there is a change in state government and things like that, then, or national government, then it has impact. It has its impact on everything. With this, dear friends, this one is about solar powered agriculture. This is something that this article is talking about, that we should have this solar pumps, right, for you can say for spreading this water or providing irrigation facility to our farms. Now we have talked about this thing. I'm sure you are aware about this thing as well, and I have a proper figure for you today. 53%. This is a very important figure. If you want, you can by heart it. If you want, of course, you would be able to download this file once this lecture is over. So you have this figure with you, so keep this thing in mind. You can use this sort of figures, right? They are factual figures. You don't have to use too many of them, but you should be knowing how to use it as well. You know, if you want to say something about irrigation and why we are facing this sort of things, then you can write this, that 53% of the net sown area is still rain fed. That means it depends on the rainfall, and we know about climate change that is taking place today as well. We have one news item pertaining to climate change, so at that point of time we'll talk about this thing. So Maharashtra is there, then you have Karnataka. They are trying and they are promoting this. They are solarizing their agriculture. Now it is a good thing, no doubt, and basically our target is that by 2021, right, by 2021, 1 million farmers will be provided with this sort of solar pumps. So far we have provided 1,42,000 only. 1 million stands for 10 lakh, right? So it seems that we are not able to do or we are not able to perform that much. Now the other thing is that, as you know, that this is the net sowing area. 53% is still rain fed, and imagine that you have 132 million farmers and you have just a 28 million existing irrigation pump. Right now most of these pumps are running either on diesel or they are running on electricity. And you know it very well that when you have this solar panel and everything, so it is going to cut down cost of that farmer. So it has its own benefit. And these are some of the potential benefits of this solar pump. The first one is that it enhances irrigation access. So that means when water is supplied to the farmland, it will increase yield. That means it will increase or profits for the farmer. And then we have food security and other thing as well. Then you have this advanced low carbon agriculture. You don't have to use electricity. Even today, most of the electricity that we produce is coming from coal. So when you are using less electricity, when you are not using diesel, so okay, it's a small drop, but every drop matters. So it is a, you can say it is a, we are heading towards, if we have this, then we are heading towards low carbon agriculture. Reduce the burden of rising electricity subsidy. Very important. Now, electricity subsidy, right, it may sound sweet, or it may feel sweet to the farmer, but it is diabetic. When I say diabetic, I mean to say that you may get, say for example, 500 rupees off on your electricity, but because you have been provided with subsidy, government won't be having enough money to provide you other technological things that are very important for your for the upliftment of, or changing the face of this agriculture sector, or farming, say for example. So these are the things, right? Subsidies are, sometimes they are okay, but there should be a deadline of subsidies as well. And with this solar pump, you don't have to provide this electricity subsidies, and it improves the resilience of farmer against climate change, because we know this rains have become erratic. You cannot rely on them. So this article here, this the writer is giving us 7 takeaways, right? 7 takeaways or the benefits of this solar pump. Now what it is saying, that at present there are 60% of marginal farmers in Uttar Pradesh. They have to buy water, right? They have to literally purchase water, right, for their agriculture land. So naturally they have to pay for this tractor and everything. So it is going to add more. And here we are not talking about large farmers, right? We are talking about marginal farmer, and you know the situation of marginal farmer in our country. The other thing is, and this is one of the most important point, if you ask me, right, as I was going through all these points, means when I started reading this thing for you guys, at that point of time, the first thing that came in my mind when this article started talking about the solar pumps is that, see, it is about behavior as well. And I would like to give you an example which is not directly related with solar pump, but you know, when subsidies were provided on diesel and petrol, or you can say on fuel, right? When subsidies were provided at that point of time, diesel was somewhere around, right, roughly, I don't have exact figure, but it was somewhere around 50 rupees. And because it was 50 rupees, people used to purchase diesel cars, right, because they were knowing that diesel is subsidized. The other thing is that it was quite cheaper than petrol. And because it was cheaper, people have used it without applying their mind and logic, right? And today we see a situation, today there is no sort of a subsidy, or it is basically deregulated. And this is the reason why you see that people are talking or looking for more mileage giving cars and you know, public transport. And so this is a thing as well. If you provide if you are providing electric subsidy, this has been proved as well, and that the farmers, they will suck away too much of groundwater, which is again not a good scenario. Again, it may look sweet that you can pump out water from this water table, groundwater table, but you are in fact creating a sort of you are preparing your noose for longer term. And naturally, if your area is not having water, that means rivers are a bit far from you, and the other thing is that you won't be having that much rainfall as well, isn't it? So these are some of the basic. It's not always possible, but these are two things, right? If you are facing water scarcity, then these are the two main factors. So if you are taking away water from the ground, then this is going to create more problem. So most important, right, we have Israeli Prime Minister here in our country, and you can ask him as well, that most important thing is that micro irrigation facility should be provided. And if you ask me, then I would say that if you want solar pump, right, then you should have this micro irrigation facility, right? If you don't have this thing, if you don't have water harvesting facility, of course government can, and this is not an expenditure, this is an investment. So if government provides subsidy or whatever help it can by providing micro irrigation and water harvesting facility, creating this infrastructure, and then only you can have this solar pump, then only we would be able to save water, or else if you are going to distribute 1 million, say for example, solar pumps, then this much water, trust me, the water that you can see here, right, this much water, maybe 1,000 fields, maybe, right, or maybe more than that, more than 1,000 fields of Israel will produce the same amount of or more than what we can produce in from one field. So or if we compare it, then they would be far ahead, because they are using drops, and here today as well we are using this sort of big flows. So this much water is also not required. And then it is talking about other things which are easy to understand, right? This is talking about focus on technology demonstration, and regions with already good penetration of electric pump, they should be replaced with solars and things like that. So the other ones are a bit easy ones, so I think I should move ahead, isn't it? So let's go ahead and let's see this one, Bitcoin. Now Bitcoin is a sort of cryptocurrency, right? Digital currency. Now we have talked about Bitcoin as well, and as you would be knowing now, those of students who are following this lectures for a bit of a long period, you know that many things, right, you find, like Bitcoin was in news, then it came as editorial and article. Now we have bit of updates of Bitcoin here again. So continuity is the key if you want to crack any competitive exam, right? With continuity, your growth will be just like compound interest rather than simple interest. So make sure, right, if you're not able to follow these lectures for whatever reason, I must say that it may look a bit blunt, but it is all excuses, right? You may not skip food, you may not skip maybe praying, you may not skip your shower and other items. So in the same way, this should become a part of your life. Only then you will be able to regularly follow it and think about the benefits of it, right? Don't take it as a burden. There are times when you have to struggle, you have to walk a bit inclined, you have to take a sort of inclined path. But once you reach here, then the things are declined. Then it would be a bit easier for you guys, right? So make sure you are regular in following these lectures. Then only it will make sense. As you can understand too that it is not possible in 40 minutes, and it won't be nice as well if I keep on repeating the things that we have already discussed earlier on, right? We have to add on. We have to keep on adding things. Now, see this Bitcoin, right? In December mid 2017. It clocked $19,300. This is not a small amount at all for a Bitcoin, right? One Bitcoin for $19,300, and then it came down to 9,300, and at present it is clocking, or it is somewhere around $10,000. So what it indicates that this sort of price behavior of making lower highs and lower lows is typical of a downtrend in the price of any security. That means it is, as far as this article is concerned, it is going to go down even further, and this is not the right time for purchasing Bitcoin. The other thing is that one of the most important thing is that it should have been approved as a sort of currency by the world market or different countries, but it has not got acceptance from other people as well, or you can say, when I say people, I mean to say the governments, because no government would like to see money is one of the most powerful thing, and no government would like to share that power with a sort of Bitcoin type of company, right, or any other digital currency. That is that means that you don't have any sort of proper, there is no a proper method of deciding that how these prices are going up and how it is going down. It is all about sentiment, so you cannot rely on this thing. So this is everything about this. That's everything about it. Now this is about Chief Justice of India had a meeting with the 4 senior most judges. When asked about what was the matter or subject matter, the CJI declined. Yesterday we talked about this thing in detail. Then you have Jay Shankar, right, our foreign secretary. He has said that one of the biggest distraction we have is, or one big disruption, not distraction, disruption, is the rise of China and the posture of USA. You know, USA is stepping out, the challenges of terrorism, and the fourth would be the implications of non-market economies. Now the thing is, he also said that disruption was positive in many ways. It is not necessary that disruptions are negative. China has in a way opened up the international order, which allowed India to make its presence felt. So this is a thing that we have, or this is something that has benefited India when we talk about disruption. Then you have this Sunil Lamba, our Navy chief. He has said that in name of anti-piracy and security, China is loitering in Indian Ocean, right? You know about this string of pearls and this dual purpose ports that China is creating here. So this is something that India is a bit skeptical about. And you have this Quad as well. You have this 1, 2, 3 and 4 countries coming together to ensure that China is following rules and regulation, particularly when we talk about South China Sea and this Strait of Malacca. And of course, as China is trying to dominate this thing, so it is a matter of worry for India for sure, as well as Australia. And USA and Japan are trying to cover this Pacific Ocean. So that's why they keep on telling us Indo-Pacific, Indo-Pacific. This one is about Tibetan leader cautions India. Said that Tibet is the palm and 5 fingers are Bhutan, Nepal, Arunachal, Ladakh and Sikkim. They have said that India should prepare itself for this muscle flexing China. With this electoral bonds won't solve all issues, has been said by Chief Election Commissioner. If you want to know more about electoral bonds, then I have delivered a special video lecture on this thing, right? We have discussed in detail, so make sure you go through it. I believe this is a very important topic and you should be knowing in and out about it, and this is one of the main reason why we make special videos on these topics. There are high chances that they may ask you a question on electoral bonds in your mains examination, so make sure you go through it. This one is about Prime Minister of Israel meeting Moshe. Moshe is the youngest survivor of this 26/11 attack that took place in Mumbai, and Prime Minister has said that they are going to convert this Nariman house into a beacon of light. With this, Israel pushes for a free trade with India, and free trade agreement basically means you get rid of all this tariffs and non-tariff barriers. So basically importing and exporting, particularly importing, will become a bit cheaper, and because this will become cheaper, so more products will be in demand. So in this way both countries can sell things to each other with lower rates or with no rates at all. So this is the thing. And he has also talked about providing oxygen. Here oxygen means low tax rate and simple tax and easy tax and things like that. 2017, this is about climate change, right? 2017 is the second or the third warmest year on record behind 2016. We didn't have this El Nino, and then as well, if you are having a hot year, then this is a matter of worry. At present, again, very important figure here, right? The average surface temperature in 2017 were 1.1 degree Celsius, creeping under this. It is heading towards 1.5, and this is sort of you can say under Paris Agreement. This is something that we are trying to achieve, right? It should not cross 2 degree by this end of by we hit 2100, but before that we should ensure that we should try our level best that we never cross this 1.5. We are at 1.1, and we are slowly moving higher and higher. So this is very sad. With this GST rates on 29 goods and 53 services gets a cut. So again, there would be a revenue fall in the hand of government, and they have decided to bring down rates. Mostly this 28% category work will go on and on this 28% category. Apart from that, Arun Jaitley has said that anti-evasion measures will be taken, right? It is observed yesterday as well. We have talked about this thing that government is a bit worried about this anti-evasion things that may take place, or the things that are taking place. In fact, Agni 5, we have test fired it for the 5th time, and here are some specifics about this Agni 5, and these are 18 brave hearts from across the country to get awards on January 26 for their bravery. With this, dear friends, I end this discussion. Make sure you check out StudyIQ.com to know more about our pen drive and tablet courses. Subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you will get updates of all the videos that we upload on regular basis. If you are following my PIB in English and Hindi, and if you are preparing for UPSC exams, then I reckon that you do follow this PIBs as well. Available both in Hindi and English. It is delivered by me on regular basis. Maximum many a times, if we have some important items, then 20 minutes, or else max 15 minutes, right? This video is all about, so I'm sure 15 minutes is nothing. You will get updates regarding news pertaining to ministry, union ministry, as well as you have a focus topic. Most of the time there is a focus topic, so we take one topic, say for example education, and then we analyze it in detail. And you can follow me on my Facebook page, Prashant T. Mawani. All updates regarding my lectures and everything. If there is anything I have to tell to you or communicate with you guys, then this is the best source for me, right? So make sure you follow it, so that if there are any important updates from my side, then, and you can also, if you have any queries, then you can ask me, you can message me, right? But just keep in mind that you have to give me some time to get back to you, but I go through and I read all your messages and everything, right? So thank you very much for all your positive and encouraging messages, and you can motivate and encourage us on regular basis by giving us your like and passing your valuable comments in this comment section of this video. With this, dear friends, I end this discussion. Enjoy your studies, and I'll see you all soon. Take care. Jai Hind.